right, happy St. Patty's Day. Man, gas prices are back up today, which is funny because I remember looking at the oil prices yesterday and they were pretty flat. And I think actually oil prices went down. So it's weird that, over here in Texas, it went from like 349 to 369, 20 cents difference in one day when gas price or when oil prices were flat or down yesterday. It's just, I don't know what's going on. And it's funny because the like all the gas stations are kind of all uniform. You know what I mean? that they're all set their prices, at the same, at the same level recently. And it is the case today. I drove by four different gas stations, whether it was 7-Eleven, Exxon, Quick Trip, Racetrack, all of them had the same price. So I don't know what's going on, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to let it trigger me or anything. And I was thinking about this last night in a conversation, just how if you're easily triggered, sometimes I think you're walking around with a loaded gun, and I think we got to empty that clip a little bit sometimes, and that just requires some quietness, some stillness, some meditation, some prayer, some gratitude. And I think it's really important to live as much as possible in that state of gratitude, in that state of peace, because as we navigate this world, as we try to survive this world, especially with war, literally war. I mean, we're in a war, and this is a global conflict that, because all our economies at this point in 2026 are all interconnected. So it's affecting everyone. This war is affecting everyone across the planet, every single country. Because the Middle East is a hub of energy, and at the end of the day, the three essentials that I believe it takes to survive. There's some indirect ones too, but the three essentials are water, energy, food. And energy is being disrupted with a war in the Middle East right now. The flow of energy, and so yeah, it's going to have an impact. It's going to have an impact. Sorry, I'm trying to move over, and my neck is bothering me. It is, yeah. Anyway, sorry for the interruption there. But they're 369 here as well. Usually you see the gas prices kind of vary in different parts. Because that's a long trip for me to get to work, and you see the gas prices vary, but it's just strange that kind of since this war started, they're like all on the same page. Like it's just some sort of I don't know. I forget what you call it. I don't want to say monopoly or oligarchy or collusion. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Some sort of collusion going on. Anyway, I apologize for the darkness here, but yeah, I just kind of want to help myself and others that might be listening to not let the conflict, not let yourself just walk around with a loaded gun and easily be triggered by just all these different changes and all these distractions and all this fear, because man, it's a rabbit hole we can easily go down. It is scary, but I think that it's more important than ever to raise our consciousness, to raise our emotions, and to practice gratitude and practice ways to, because we're going to have those moments where, and I know I'm repeating myself. If you listen to any of my videos, I don't think many people do, but anyway, I need to repeat it for myself too. It's like anytime something happens, whether it's someone cuts you off in traffic, someone says something at it's the wrong thing at work, you hear a new piece of news, or you see gas prices go up, you can't easily be triggered by it. You can have your moment of like frustration and annoyance, but you get to control the emotions that run through your body. You have that autonomy. A lot of people don't want you to know that. I think that it fits, quote unquote, the powerful for you not to know that, because a lot of actions are driven by fear. I talk a lot about cause and effect. For you to be a causer, it means that you are deliberately, with intent, causing things in your life with an intended effect that you want. But when you're constantly reacting and acting based on people doing other doings, other causers, you're living in effect mode, and you're playing into their hand. Because people that live constantly in effect mode, you're easily predict. You're easily manipulated. You're easy to predict. You're a good consumer, and it's just the way it is. You don't want to be predictable. You don't. You want to live with your own intent and be your true self, your highest conscious self. And that means living in the highest emotions as much as possible. So if that means cutting out the news, if that means cutting out TV or negative entertainment, music that gets you frustrated or gets you like too amped up or kind of gets negative emotions, that's all for you to determine what raises your emotions. Look at the Map of Consciousness by David Hawkins. Look at the emotions that are above that 200 level. It starts off with courage. Other emotions are neutrality, acceptance, love, peace. Those are the ones that come to mind. But you don't want to live in the right one, one that's easy to think that you're living in higher emotions is pride. That's your ego. You don't want to let your ego run things either. Yeah, I definitely want to encourage. Everyone's 369. You know, it's funny. It's funny. It's a collusion. It's collusion. Yeah, but I just want to pass on some blessings and some love and some prayers for all of us, especially the ones directly affected by this conflict, directly affected by this war. I'm indirectly affected. All I'm doing is paying some higher prices. It's going to pinch my wallet a little bit, but I can still eat. I can still go on and live kind of a lifestyle I've blessed to have, thankfully. You know, obviously, I still have to go to work and still do my thing to survive, which I will be doing. But I'm grateful to have a job. I'm grateful to not be living in survival mode, where I'm just constantly stressed and how I'm going to feed myself and how I'm going to clothe myself, how I'm going to find shelter, how I'm going to find water, whatever. I don't want to live in survival mode. It's not a fun state to live in. And if you're doing that, my prayers are out to you. And hopefully this message finds you and that you can find a way to just elevate your emotions and find some gratitude in your life so that things can improve. And hopefully if enough of us do that, we as a species can just build a better community and better society for us to thrive long term. That's all I can hope for, because the technology is only getting scarier and scarier. People are going to have the ability to do some very horrific things because of the scale of these weapons that we have been able to invent. So hopefully, as a species, we can raise that consciousness so light prevails. Light prevails. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this message today. As always, many blessings, much love, peace, and I'll see you next time. Take care.